Have you ever stumbled onto a web page and thought, I've read something about this before? Where was that? Then you waste a few minutes digging through old bookmarks and then you just give up. Imagine instead your past notes and bookmarks automatically appeared on the page, highlighting exactly where you'd seen the concept before. That's exactly what I'm about to show you. In the next 10 minutes, I'm covering 3 features inside a tool called Recall that makes your bookmarks, your knowledge base, actually work for you. First, I'll show you automatic connections that link related content without you doing anything. Second, Augmented Browsing, which is the feature I just talked about, which resurfaces your saved knowledge while you browse the web in real time. And third, spaced repetition. That way you actually remember what you saved instead of just hoarding all that information. But number 2, Augmented Browsing is the primary reason I'm making this video, so keep watching to see what all it can do. I promise it's worth it. This is part 3 of my Recall series. Part 1 and 2 covered setup and workflows. If you missed the first 2, that's fine because you can still learn a lot about Recall in this video. If you haven't joined yet, there's a link in the description with an exclusive discount. I highly recommend that you check it out. Let's jump into it, guys. Here's the thing about most knowledge management systems inside Notion or Obsidian. You have to manually tag things. You have to remember to review your notes. And when the excitement wears off, you just stop managing it. But what if your knowledge base was smart enough to do most of that manual work for you? Let me show you how this works, starting with the foundation. Every time you save something to Recall, a video, an article, a podcast, whatever, the AI extracts key concepts and entities. Then it automatically links that content to everything else you've ever saved inside your knowledge base that mentions those same concepts. So every card has a connections tab that shows all the keywords extracted from that content. The number next to each keyword shows how many other cards mention it. When I click here, it shows me every piece of content that mentions that concept. This connections view is also available inside the browser extension when you're on the actual web page, which is super useful if you've just summarized something and you want to explore how it fits into all of your saved content. But here's where it gets really cool. You can see your entire knowledge base as a visual network. Look at this. Each dot is a card, each line is a connection. The bigger the dot, the more connections it has. I've got hundreds of cards saved now, and watching my knowledge graph grow has been incredible. You can filter it down really easily if you find it a bit overwhelming. Recall's also mentioned to me that a new upgraded version is coming soon as well, so that's something to look forward to. But you're not just stuck with automatic connections. You can create your own, and it's honestly really simple. Sometimes you do need specific connections. So in the notebook view, highlight any text and click the lightning bolt icon. Then you can link it to another card in your knowledge base or link it to a Wikipedia entity for some web enriched context, or you can create a brand new card right from that connection. Or if you like, you can create your own notes just like you might in Obsidian. You can write a note yourself, write whatever you like inside, and create connections within that note really easily in just a few clicks. Here's something important to understand. Connections work both ways. Backlinks show how many other cards reference this one. Outgoing links show how connected this card is to other ideas. Cards with lots of backlinks are like hubs. They're central concepts that keep coming up. Here's why this changes everything. The power isn't in the individual connections, it's in the compound effect, right? Every time you save new content, it automatically gets woven into your existing knowledge. But connections only work when you're inside Recall. What about when you're just browsing the web? That's where the next feature I mentioned at the beginning of the video just takes things to a whole new level. Okay, this is it, guys. This is Recall's Augmented Browsing feature that highlights keywords on any web page you're reading, anything that's connected to the content you've already saved in Recall. In real time, as you browse, let me paint you a picture, okay? You're reading an article about coffee. While you're reading, caffeine is highlighted, right? You hover over it and Recall shows you that you saved a few Andrew Huberman podcasts that detail the pros and cons of it. Immediately, you're given more context to understand the article, and you can expand those notes and even go straight to specific timestamps. You didn't have to search, you didn't have to remember anything. Recall just showed you. That's augmented browsing. This feature is why I'm making this video. I've honestly never seen anything like it. No other tools doing this. And now the best part is that it's absurdly simple. You just open your Recall browser extension, go to settings, and turn on augmented browsing. That's it. Now it just works in the background based on your saved content. I can click the arrows to navigate through each one. These keywords are getting highlighted, right? Every single one of those connects to content I've saved. I get to stay in flow and continue learning. A quick note on privacy, because I know people care about this. This feature is local first. All the keyword matching happens on your device. Recall doesn't send your browsing data to any server. Your browsing stays completely private, okay? Recall is very transparent about this stuff, and you can review their policies on their website. Now, you can customize this if your keywords are getting distracting, or if a keyword keeps showing up and you really don't care about it. You can click the eye icon to hide it, or you can go to settings and add it to hidden entities. And if you don't want augmented browsing on certain websites, maybe social media, you can disable it per site. Now, here's what makes this exponentially more powerful over time. The more content you save, the more connections augmented browsing finds. In the first week, maybe you get 1 to 2 connections per article, but after a few months of saving content, your knowledge base becomes this ever-present layer over everything that you read. This is like having a research assistant reading the article or post before you get your hands on it. But now, there's still one problem. You're human and you're still gonna forget most of what you save and read. That's where this final feature comes in. So you read something, right? You think, wow, this is valuable. You save it, and a week later, you moved on. You've probably forgotten about it. But what if you could actually retain the important stuff? That's where spaced repetition comes in. Spaced repetition is a scientifically proven learning technique. You review information at specific intervals right before you're about to forget it. This forces your brain to actively recall the information, which strengthens the memory of it over time. But I've just started experimenting with this inside Recall, so let's check this out. Open any card that you saved where you want to remember things from it. Click the Quiz tab, click Generate, and Recall creates the flashcards for you. It's created some options here for me to choose from, and I can keep or edit any of them that I like, right? And I can also just manually add my own questions. These questions are added to your review queue. You can review them immediately, then 7 days later, then 30 days later, and then 6 months, right? If you get a question wrong, it comes back the next day. You're constantly reviewing right before you'd naturally forget. Now, you don't need to add everything to spaced repetition. Be very selective. Focus on the core concepts you want to internalize, key insights from the most important content. I would suggest deleting many of the generated ones that you don't want. Just keep the ones that are important to you and actually learn those, right? Honestly, I think this could be a really great replacement for social media scrolling in those moments where you're looking for something to do on your phone. So now let me just quickly cover how these 3 features work together to create this compounding system for you. You browse the web, you find a web page with lots of relevant connections. You see it's clearly valuable, so you save it, right? The connections automatically link it to related content in your knowledge base. Now you're able to understand the relationships between the ideas. Then you add what's most important to your spaced repetition quizzes. Finally, the regular reviewing from the quizzes ensures you actually remember and you can apply what you've learned. Now you just repeat the process. Notice what's happening right now. You're spending 0 time manually organizing anything like you might in Obsidian or Notion. You're not having to figure out what to write or where to put things. The system is just working for you in the background like magic. So that's the complete Recall system, and it's my final video in this Recall series. Now you have everything you need to build a knowledge system that's really going to work for you and compound over time. If you've watched all 3 of these videos, thank you so much for hanging out and supporting the channel. If you haven't joined Recall yet and you've made it this far, what are you doing? Use the link in the description, get the exclusive discount that Recall gave me for you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.